So, like I was introduced as, well, this is the, you're in the right place, the top 5 videos every small business owner should have in 2022. And I guess I would probably amend that title and really say any business, big or small, medium size. And we're halfway through 2022, so this is 2022 and beyond. I already apologize in advance because of we're showing videos. For some reason, I can't get the videos to play in the presentation, so there might be some back and forth with opening windows and the whole fun. So this is kind of what I'll be talking about. I'm going to try to be quick. I want to leave room for question and answer if there are any questions. So we're just going to talk about why video is important, the types of videos, and really this is just to get you guys thinking about, if you're not already doing video content for your business, just to kind of get a launching pad of like ideas, big ideas, and then even more specific. This is me. I am the owner of Carrot Film Company. And kind of our mission is that we're a production agency the heart behind is to really partner with businesses and entities instead of just like being a hired camera, but really just partnering with businesses to create the most engaging, because we always have to engage the audience with our ever fleeting social media, and obviously we want to see an ROI. So we want those to be profitable, and we really need to stand out amongst all of the noise, and there's definitely a lot of that. So I guess what qualifies me to talk about this is I've been doing this for 11 years, and so I started out, and I've been doing video production for 11 years. Excuse me, man. And I'm going to lose my voice while I'm talking. So really just having navigated this journey over the past, really when I started, social media was becoming a thing more and more. Instagram came out right when I started. And video wasn't even like a thing on Instagram. TikTok didn't exist, those types of things. But I've kind of watched this shift as I've had to kind of alter the way that I do my job, and so about 6 years ago, really created the agency mindset of like, okay, let's just partner with businesses, and really having a strategy, and that's really the biggest key behind all of these things. So. Why does video matter? I'm gonna throw out a bunch of stats because I think stats are interesting. And at the end of the presentation, there will be a QR code. You can download this entire presentation and like fact check me if you'd like. There's all the sources. I'm going the wrong way. But I don't think any of these things come as a surprise, but according to Google, YouTube reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds in an average week than all cable TV networks combined. So obviously we know the power of YouTube. People call it YouTube University. We go there. I go to YouTube for anything and everything, to be entertained, to learn. I've learned a lot of things, like when I first started out, how to edit, those types of things, navigating. And so that's... I don't think that comes as a surprise to anyone. Just a few more stats. The average person views 100 minutes of video content per day. Maybe some of us more so than others. 55% of shoppers rely on online video while actually shopping in a store. So this could go one of two ways. It's like they're either physically shopping in a store, and the store might use like video content in their displays, or the way that I use video a lot when I'm shopping is watching a lot of comparison videos side by side. Why would I use this product? Why would it benefit me? Why should I buy this product? Why should I engage this service over this person that offers the same thing? 68% of consumers prefer watching a video to reading about a product. And kind of one that ties in is 54% of consumers want to see more video content this year. And I find it interesting, like, especially with people wanting to watch video over reading. I don't think that comes as a surprise, but when we look at how we, one of my clients is a furniture manufacturer, and I would much rather, I can look at the instructions of how to assemble this product, but it really is a lot easier just to go on YouTube, right, and watch a video of somebody doing it alongside me, and it just makes it a lot easier to kind of see someone else doing those things. So we know video isn't going away. Like, I mean, it's I'm kind of stating the obvious when I'm talking about these kind of things, because it's just like, okay, like, we get it. This stat is already dated because this stat was before 2020, and it says by 2020 there will be almost 1 million minutes of video per second crossing the internet, and then they add that 82% of all consumer web traffic will be video. Well, as we learned 2 years ago, our entire world changed, and like I would venture to say that percentage is a lot higher than 82, because the entire world shut down. We had to figure out new ways of communicating our services and our products to the masses, things that people had never really thought of. Churches and schools, how are we going to have like services? How are we going to have commencements? And then on the other side of just businesses trying to figure out, like, how am I going to communicate that we're still in business? We still want to do work for you guys. Like we're still open. So I would, like I said, I would venture to say, but that's a crazy amount of data going through the internet, 1 million minutes of video per second. So you might think, like, well, why, like, if there's that much like noise out there, if there's that much, why would I even try? If my clicker would work. This is kind of the big ideas that I would like to keep in mind, is really strategy over content. Whenever people talk to me or come to me personally about doing a project or something like that, it's like, oh, like, we want to do, like, people always ask me if I have a drone, which is, it's a cool tool to have, but it's really just that, it's a tool. And I really try to answer all these questions. And while you're navigating your marketing for your company, really start answering these questions, because I feel like, and you guys can attest, if you've ever produced video content, whether that's on a large scale or a small scale, if it's more on the large scale where you're spending money, and then you spend thousands of dollars producing a video, and you spend all this time and you think this is a great idea, and then you put it on YouTube or you put it on Facebook or Instagram and it gets like 15 views, and you're like, cool, glad I did that, glad I wasted all that money. And so really thinking as you navigate in any marketing of any medium, print or whatever, this is super important. The 3 questions that I just always ask people is, like, okay, what's the why? Why are we doing this? Why do you think you need video? I think everyone needs video, so why do you think this will help your business? How's it going to take you to the next level? Then we'll answer the question of, like, how we're actually going to execute it. But the biggest question that people don't really necessarily think of is the where. Where is this going to live? Are we going to upload it on YouTube? Are we going to put it on Facebook? Are we going to put dollars behind, like, ads? Are we just going to, like, hope people see it? Are we going to put it on Instagram? Are we going to put it on TikTok? Are we going to put it on broadcast? like MCTV or like a Cleveland network? Are we going to try to put it on streaming ads, like Hulu or something like that? There's so many questions, and there's so many like places that you can put your stuff. So it's really just like, okay, who's my target audience? Where are they going to see it? And is this worth it? And then really one of the biggest reasons that I am such a proponent, not just because I do it as a job, but I really believe a lot of people miss the opportunity to showcase their legacy. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, you build a business, you build this thing that is like so important to you. You spend your life, hours, days, and you have like no documentation of like, this is the story of like who I was when I started the business. And if the business goes on to be multi-generational, those are key elements to just have in your back pocket of like, even for the next generation or generations after. It's just, we have all of the opportunities in the world with cameras in our pocket to document, but we rarely document, building a business or things like that. So those are things that I really that whole legacy is super important. And before I jump into the actual 5 types, I will say, like, as businesses, as we start to hire the next generation, this is going to be so important to have video content. I'm a millennial, I'm in my 30s, and I'm still the type that if I hear about a business or if I was going to go to apply to a business, I would totally go to their website, see who they are, and they better have a video, or I'm like, how can I learn about? And even more so, the generation that's 10, 15 years behind me, this is super important, like, I think. But also, there has to be authenticity in that content of like, this is who we really are. This is what we're all about. So I'll dive into the 5 types, just checking the time. And I'll try to show an example of each. I'm not going to, some of these are a couple minutes long. I'm not going to show the entirety. Like I said, you can download the whole presentation and watch these videos. You can go to the Carrot Film YouTube, or you can find other examples that haven't been produced by us. But as we kind of navigate through these, really start thinking about, okay, well, like whoever you already use as a videographer or video content creator, how can we start having these conversations to create this content? Some of it is more like, okay, we have to have cameras and lights and microphones and stuff, but some of it can be very attainable through a cell phone. So I just said cell phone. Is that still the term? Mobile phone? So an anthem film. This is just about us. You're bragging about you. These are the videos that a lot of people see sitting on websites, on the about page of a website. And really, this is to connect with an audience, to build relationships and brand awareness. This is really just to brag about yourself, who you are as a company, your goals, your visions, your values, anything and everything that you can try to fit into however long that you think people would watch, typically around like 3 to 4 minutes. Showcasing whatever product you develop, whatever service you offer, and just seeing people like, if you're like throwing axes, and then why does this exist? Why did I do this type of thing? The beautiful thing about a piece like this is the repurposing. You can make a 3 to 4 minute video, but having the foresight to say like, okay, we're going to create this long form piece of content, but we can easily take 10 seconds, 7 seconds, 15 seconds, make it a TikTok, make it a reel. You know, whoever that, you know, obviously, like I said, we're trying to create the most engaging. The most engaging content is the quickest, in my view. Like if you're trying to reach people via social media on Instagram or TikTok, if it's longer than like, in my opinion, if it's longer than like 20 seconds and it's not something like super interesting, it's not happening, people are going to bail, they're going to scroll, and you've lost them. So that's the cool thing about this type of content is you can repurpose it. And if you're paying someone to do it, you're getting your money's worth. Like I'm not just getting one video, like I can repurpose all of this. And if you have whoever has charge of like all your raw footage and stuff, hopefully they're willing to give that to you, and then you can use all of that content indefinitely. Because as we know, the need to post on social media is like consistently is very difficult, especially when you're a small business owner. Like, okay, who's going to do this? And then how am I going to come up with the content? So this is a good way to do that. I'm going to attempt to play a video as an example. And like I said, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. These are all local companies, or local people too, so you might recognize people.
Our grandfather, Myron Shanklin, started the company in 1960, and mostly new construction, installing sheet metal fabricating work and furnaces. Our dad, Harold Shanklin, took over right around 1980, and in 2006, Derek and I took it over from our dad. We're the third generation in the business.
It's kind of a thing that we take a lot of pride in. You know, when we put our names on the side of the truck, there's a lot to be said about that. We definitely take a lot of pride in it. Just keeping that tradition going, and then just something that we really just love the experience in every part of it that we do.
So really, one of the things that we feel that can set us apart.
All right, I'm going to pause. Anyway, I think it buffered anyways, but. So as you can see, I mean, obviously there's a lot more. They go into talking about their core values. Really, you can use this as really anything. You know, obviously they're showing their technicians kind of getting ready for the day. Later on in the video, it shows them actually on jobs and things like that. And so, you know, that's a great example of like the multi-generational legacy piece. Like if those two guys pass the business on to their kids, they're gonna be able to utilize and even just see like, oh, that's where we came from. It can go into the archives of who we are as a business. So I think like that is top priority if you're thinking about, okay, we need to create video content. This is one of the best because you can use it as a marketing tool. You can use it. It's very multifaceted when it comes to its purpose and its use. So that's a great way. The next second would be the customer testimonials. Obviously, there's no better way to tell people that your product or your service is great, but than by other people sharing their experiences of utilizing your service or product, because people want to hear from people. You know, you can, as a business owner or a marketing person, you can tout all day about how great you are, but until you get that word of mouth, or hey, you should try this thing, it worked for me, or like, you know, we had a lot of fun at this place, you should try it out. That's when people start really connecting and engaging with your stuff. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna power through. I might play the whole one of this because I think it's good. And
Mike David, I orthopedic surgeon in town.
so I guess I'll preface. this is a testimonial, obviously, for Declaration Fitness. They created a campaign of like, I am Team DCF. That's kind of like a slogan they say, and so they were just wanting to share examples of how Declaration helped change people's lives in fitness.
He's a doctor for the college and the high school football teams, and I've always lifted and done athletic stuff. So I just thought that CrossFit would be a good change of pace in terms of fitness. So I had a stroke in August of 2017. So I basically sat on the couch for about 2 months. Basically, I've always seen myself as an athlete. But this year, I wasn't much of an athlete. But I've sure come a long way since then. I'm just doing what I do, just getting healthy again, and getting back to work, and getting back in that gym. I've always felt pretty much uncongestional acceptance here. No, I think I gained a lot of self-confidence since I've come back here. I mean, I've gained a lot of self-confidence in general, but DCF has definitely helped with that. I could sit on the couch or sit in my house and be afraid of stuff. Or I could face things head on. Early on in this process, somebody told me that all progress is made outside the comfort zone. So I would say, if you are comfortable with something, if you want to make progress, you have to just go for it. And like I said, in this world, nobody should do justice. I like can happen and not keep it easier.
So, obviously, do you feel motivated to? So that's obviously not everyone has not every entity your business might not have like an emotional, story, I guess. That is one example where, his life was changed, but they wanted, obviously to showcase that, and that video saw a lot of eyes saw that video, and whether there were like tens of thousands of views, whether like half of those people even live near DCF is irrelevant. That's just bringing brand awareness and really just was like, this is a gym that's doing good work and they're working well with like rehabilitation and those types of things. So yeah, that's a powerful way to, and even if it's more upbeat and peppy, not as like somber, just like, hey, this is a great place. We love to be here, and really just getting your customers and your clients to sing your praises. So the third video, we've talked about the anthem film or the About Us. We've talked about the customer testimonials, and the third would be the product or service. This is, I guess, how what I would kind of put more in the category of like a commercial. This is like showcasing a product that you sell or a service. You might have a lot of sub-services. And I'll probably show the entirety of both of these because I think they're both sub 60 seconds. But really just a video demonstrating maybe a problem that you have, or sorry, a problem that the client or the customer has, and how you as the business solves that problem. And then it points out key features that makes your product stand out from the competition. The two examples I'm going to show you are the title is funny, and you'll know why. So this is just a quick ad, 30 seconds. They wanted to make it funny, and they kind of wanted to put the comparison of different HVAC companies of how people might perceive like technicians, so versus how their technicians are.
I'm Troy, a service technician for Mountain High Heating and Cooling. I have a question. Do you enjoy having unkempt, dishonest, lethargic men in your home? Yeah, me neither. Right, Greg? Each of our techs arrives on time, dressed professionally, and is there to solve the issues you are facing. No more, no less. When it comes to your heating and cooling needs, we got you. Don't waste time. Call Alpine. Greg, put some pants on, man.
Greg. So that was just like them compared, it's a quick, like, we know a lot of people probably view like people coming in your home, like hopefully they're not sloppy or messy, but we can reassure you that that we'll be clean and we're going to take care of you. This is kind of that's a service. This is a product, the Wooster Brush Company. We did a lot of these for basically every single one of their products before they rebranded. But this could also be used as an internal video, which is what we're going to talk about next. They use these videos as kind of internal sales tools to kind of train their sales staff. Like, just watch all these videos and you can learn like real quick the features of each brush or roller cover. So. So super quick, super attainable, bite-sized, but also, but it has a lot of information packed in there, and it's showing it in use. Stop.
How to
Auto.
escape the heat if you don't have
Autoplay.
This only
Sorry. So yeah, it's showing it in use, and like I said, it kind of goes into the next video type, which is internal videos, and really that's my best example because a lot of internal videos are proprietary and private. But we're talking about like onboarding videos, safety videos, HR videos, and these are things that are very easily overlooked for most, and it's probably some of the most valuable as far as when you're onboarding. None of us like to spend hours and hours training people when we have our own work to do. If we utilize video, we might only have to update that every, year or so, depending on how policies change. But you can use these as, like training, obviously for safety, this is how you use a tow motor. This is why you wear safety goggles here. Those, like, the possibilities are truly endless for the internal really with all video content, the sky's the limit, and your imagination can go as far as you want. And then, HR videos, these are the appropriate ways to act in the workplace. Like I said, the possibilities are endless, and you're saving so much time internally, especially if you have a large team. If it's just kind of like a couple people, it might be easier just to talk one-on-one. But if you're like a large corporation where you have a lot of turnover, you have people coming in and out, utilizing this type of video, the internal video, and I guess it's not a specific video, it's more like a subgroup, but that's just kind of, and like I said, basically all of any video that I've ever shot is proprietary for this purpose, so I can't really show a specific example of like a safety video or something, but you can use your imagination and how we get there. So we've talked about the anthem video, that was the first one, then the customer testimonials, then like showcasing a product or service, the internal videos, and then the fifth one is culture-based videos. And this is what I was kind of referencing when I was talking earlier about how we are going to get that next generation to come work for us. Showcasing the culture, like if you can't prove to me, like before I even step foot into your company, why I should work for you, or why I would want to work here, then I'm probably just going to look elsewhere, because there are people that are doing that. And it's not like we have to be flashy and be super impressive or fake, but just being authentic and like, this is a place that you would want to work. This is the culture that we have. This is the fun, your customers want to work with people. If they're watching this video, they want to know that they're working with people. And then the same goes as far as when you're recruiting people to be on your staff. They want to know, like, this is like a real, you don't have to be like a cool like Google with like segues, and like I feel like a lot of people are like, well, it's not like that cool in our office or something. But it's really just comes down to the relationships that you cultivate in your office, what the culture is like, why you would want to work with our company, whether you're a customer or you're going to be an employee. And my example of that is a recent video we did for community action. And like I said, this is kind of long. So kind of the purpose of this video when they approached and we kind of had discussions was they need to hire staff. And so that's kind of the main driving force, but they just kind of also wanted to showcase like, this is a meaningful job. We do meaningful work. So even if you're watching this and you're not going to work for them, you can kind of see like the heart and passion that they have behind what they do.
So I actually got involved with community action when I was a baby. My mom was a young mom and she had me at 15 years old. And so she needed support. And she came to community action for that support. So she joined a group called the Young Mom Support Group. And as we grew up and got older, we started making connections back with them, and they asked us to start volunteering. So I've been volunteering for community action since I was probably 10 years old.
I chose to be a Head Start teacher because I was a Head Start student. My certificate from 1988. With being connected to different varieties of children, different lifestyles, and sometimes we are consistent, a routine, and also a place for just a safe love. Just like when I was younger, it was a safe place.
I think Community Action Wayne Medina's Head Start program is a great place to work. The staff are like family, and they care about the children and families we serve as if they are their own. We have staff who have been with the agency for 40 years, and they say that it's just the place that they want to be.
Okay, so as you can see, it's a great place to work. You would want to work there. So obviously it just continues. It's really just showing like this is why we do what we do. This is the culture that we have. It's a great place to work. I mean, I can't say that any other way. So, so this is a crazy stat that I think is just bonkers. More video content is being uploaded in 30 days than what major television networks in the United States have created in the past 30 years. That's just like, so like I said, like, it's really easy to just like get overwhelmed with like, okay, so why am I even going to do this? Because it's just, how can I even like make a dent in the, you know, in all of the noise and all of the competition, you know, but if you're very specific about your niche, what your target audience is, what your purpose is, what your strategy, going back to that big idea of really, I had it somewhere, of really your strategy over your content and knowing your why and your purpose of why you're doing video content in the first place, then it really will connect with the audience and that you need it to connect with. Whether that's clients or customers, whether that's recruiting for staffing, and really just kind of working with whoever is producing your video content and having these conversations, taking these questions to them and saying, we need to answer these questions of like why we're doing this. And then I didn't copy it onto this slide, but where is it going to live? Are we going, we can spend $10,000 or whatever, but if we're not targeting the right, this is a sad story, but I have a friend who spent literally $12,000 on Facebook ads, but did not do it in the right way, and he did not see any money back. So, but I feel like the way that he could have done that is a lot different in strategizing. Maybe Facebook wasn't his best platform for the services that he was offering. So really just knowing the why, the how you're going to do it, whether that's we're going to do this internally, we have a phone, we bought a new camera, whether you're going to hire an agency, and then answering like the where, like where's it going to go, and how are we going to reach those people. So those are the sources. You can look at those later. And this is me. And like I said, if you want to copy that QR code, that's just the easiest way. I don't even have business cards anymore because I feel like people just throw them away. So they're like, oh, here. And they get it lost in a drawer in their desk. So you can, like, if you do this, you can download the presentation and connect with me that way. So I guess that's kind of the end of what like I said, just really, I'm passionate about people knowing their why, of why they're doing, in any marketing strategy, but you spend so much time, in your job every day, creating a business. If you're an entrepreneur, you're in charge of the marketing, whatever your role is, you spend all this time, but then a lot of these things are very easily overlooked, but they're also really attainable. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a Hollywood level production, but as long as you're consistent, that's the biggest thing, is really, obviously we know from social media, like consistency is key, posting all the time pretty much. But I think the same thing is true with producing content, So I guess, are there any questions that I can answer? Anything that's piqued your interest or that has got you thinking about something? If not, that's okay too. Yes.
Do you have any tips for like the testimonial videos and stuff like that? Like, I've tried to do different videos I work at the Career Center.
Okay.
Background.
Yeah.
And I just have such a hard time like getting people to like give good testimonials or like to open up, or like, so do you have any tips, or do you use like content writers to help?
So for testimonials, I think authenticity is the key. So are you talking about like students giving?
Students and instructors.
Okay.
Sometimes, which I try to go more with the instructors
Yeah.
sometimes to,
Yeah.
and I also work with adult, not high school.
Okay.
Just a background
Okay.
on that as well. But
Sure. Yeah, it's difficult to find the right people. I will say that. But if you can, like with students, because I mean, really, you're targeting to recruit more students, right? So I guess that would probably speak the loudest. But it's really, I guess, just kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Vetting, or kind of asking your colleagues and like, who do you think is well spoken? Who is like charismatic? You obviously, and I've been in those situations where it's like, all right, well, tell me about why you like going here. It's fun. That is a terrible reason, but yeah, I didn't have another choice. That's yeah. So no, I guess like doing your research in those situations, being pretty well versed in like this person that you're about to talk to, or at least having like a pre-interview where you're kind of like, these are the types of questions I'm going to ask, but we want it to be authentic. So don't like write a script. Don't like write everything out that you're going to say, because then it's just going to sound super canned and cheesy. But that's probably how I would approach that, is really kind of seeking out, asking people's advice. Like, who do you think is like the best person for speaking? Who's like in your class that's like always wanting to talk? And then having a conversation like, hey, would you be willing to like sit down? And then that's just, it is more work up front of like having a conversation and getting their story. If it's a story of like, I had no other choice, then that's probably not a good like driving force. But hopefully it's something meaningful, like, especially with adult, like, you know, I didn't like go to college right out of high school, but I came back to the Career Center because I wanted to further my career. Those types of stories are great, and I'm sure those exist. It's just like finding those people. But it is hard when people are just giving like really bad answers, and you're like, I can't use this. You're gonna drive people away.
I noticed too, like in my own experience, like I noticed in some of the videos, like having them look off camera helps too,
Yes.
because they get so like
Yes.
freaked out.
Yeah, and that's a key tool. Like, so the reason they're looking off camera is because I'm always having a conversation, and the reason it's authentic feeling is because we're just kind of, I do have in pretty much every interview that I do, I have a list of questions, but we'll go off script all the time because I'll hear them say something and that'll kind of drive into like a question that I didn't really think about asking. And so we're having that conversation. They're not looking right into the camera. They're not feeling intimidated. They're just, hopefully after about 10, 15 minutes. That's why like productions typically take a long time, like even those types of videos, because we pretty much like allot like an hour for an interview, because it takes like 10 minutes to get people like trudging through their awkwardness, and they're wanting, a lot of people want to like their eyes stray to the lens, and I'm like, no, just talk to me, like don't look at the camera at all, just pretend it's not there, which is very difficult for people. So yeah, that helps people relax for sure, just having that conversation. But I would say if you're going to have people looking into a camera, using a teleprompter, they're very affordable, is a key, very easy way to make it look more natural, of like, so then people don't have to memorize. Yeah. So any other thoughts? Yes.
So you had mentioned during the part that like you can repurpose those parts of that video for
Yeah.
like your social posts
Sure.
sort of throughout time, I guess. And also just how you've been in the business for a long time, so obviously seen a shift towards more like of that short form video content.
Right.
Do you have like any other tips of how to use that type of stuff in your everyday like social feeds versus just having like the one video on the website?
Yeah, I think having access, or whoever, if you're like hiring somebody out, like having the conversation, like, hey, we want to use this content, because the reality, like a situation like that where somebody's talking like, this is about our business, you're filming for an hour, but there's like a 4-minute video, so there's tons of content that's cut out. So having access to that, you know, and that's obviously the key to good editing. If so you can pare down like an hour interview down to 4 minutes or whatever, but there's still a ton of stuff that's left out on the table that's good content. So having those conversations, but I think like even in that video, if you took out the music, if you had access to those files or like could ask someone to do that, if you could take out the music and like the soundtrack, and you could just say like, you could cut it where they start talking about like our 4 core values are, and they talk about it for like 25 seconds, and you could use that as a 25-second video, and that's going to fit pretty much anywhere. And we actually, and then we even used like some of that video that was like a 4-minute. Then we cut it down to 60 seconds, basically taking all of the best parts, and then we cut it down to like 15 seconds. So it's just like one sound bite that's like with the Shanklin, like at Shanklin Heating and Cooling, we are the best. I don't know, whatever they said. And then it just shows their logo and their contact information. And obviously always giving people the next step of like, well, cool, I watched that video, now what do I do? Like directing people to your website, directing people to social, to call a phone number, to email, whatever you want the person to do. But yeah, I think it's super easy. It's really like you could scrub through any of those videos and just take out sections of it and just upload it as 5 seconds or 10 seconds, however long. And like I said, I think most people, there was a stat that I passed by, but like if you're ever thinking about producing long form content, it should be very, very, very interesting. Because after 10 minutes, you're going to lose 80% of your audience. So, and most people, the sweet spot is under 60 seconds. You're going to retain like 85 to 90% of your audience. If it's like, especially if people can see how long the video is, they're like, okay, I can sit around for 40 more seconds and watch the rest. But if they're like, oh, this video is 9 minutes long, I'm not gonna watch this. So it's like, it's just knowing, and it is with that ever-changing like social media. People want things fast and they want to be entertained while they're being sold something, I guess. So I mean, they've been practicing this for 50 years with television ads, and now we just have to figure out how to get people really fast. And some of the best creative ads are just like somebody doing something really stupid within the first 2 seconds, like kicking somebody in the face or something. It might not have anything to do, it should probably have something to do with the actual video, but it's going to get your attention and you're going to be like, oh, I should keep watching this. Not that you should all start making videos where they start with kicking people in the face, but just like getting people's attention fast. And that's why Facebook measures the 3-second view, and then there's like the 1 minute view, because a lot of people look at that 3-second view and they're like, wow, like I had 20,000 impressions, but then if you look at like if it's longer than a minute, if you look at the minute metric, and it'll very drastically go down. So really just being aware of like time frame and the shorter you can do it. So yeah, I don't know if I'm answering that question, and it's a really long way to get there, but I think like really any of those types of videos, maybe with the exception of the internal videos, because those aren't really for external purposes. You can take any of those situations and pare it down into bite-sized TikTok reels. I don't even know how long reels. It was 60 seconds now.
30 years.
Okay, it started out, I don't remember, it's 10 or 15 seconds. So maybe it was even 7, but I mean, really just, you can take any of that information or content, whatever you think is going to be interesting to people, and also, and you can use, like the cool thing about Instagram and TikTok is you can use that description to really point people. So you don't necessarily have to take up the whole video space, like with like a call to action of like, call this number or whatever, or go to our website. You can use that, like if people can get the gist of what you're talking about in the video, you can use that description to elaborate a lot further. So, yeah. Did that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions, thoughts? It seems, I guess I'll just leave, like, it does seem daunting. I know, especially for like small business, like I struggle like creating my own video content to like market my business, just because there's always so much to do. There's so many things to do. It's just one more thing to think about. Add it to the whiteboard and look at it for 6 months and get really frustrated that you still haven't done it. But just taking those baby steps, and like I said, like it doesn't, I think a lot of people get caught up in like it has to be like super professional, Hollywood level. If you can start just making little clips on your phone. But I would say, if you're gonna do that, audio is key. If you're shooting a video and the audio sounds like garbage, people are gonna tune out so fast. Or if it's like poorly lit. Those are like the two, like, obviously the visual aspect of video is important, but the two biggest are the lighting and the audio. Because if the camera's on the other side, if that camera was, that's why I have this microphone, because if that was actually recording my audio, it would sound like trash, and I would never want to post that, because people would be like, what is he saying? Like, so he's coughing a lot. So that's, I mean, if you're gonna, like, that is my biggest, like tip when you're creating your own content internally, is to make sure the audio, and you can buy like cheaper, affordable, like lapel mics like this that can plug into your phone, super cheap on Amazon. So that's a tip of mine for that. So a freebie. Yeah, anything else? Questions? Cool. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting.